We got our vault system under here with rubber liner to hold all our water. Here's our pump. So it's on setting 5. So the customer, if they want more water volume, they can pump it up, or less water volume, they can go down.
Evaporation happens a lot through just wind. It doesn't have to be sunny. It can be cloudy and cold and still be evaporating just because of the wind. Pay attention on a daily basis to the water movement, making sure that it's moving good.
All I need is my good coffee. Good evening, guys. We just finished up this project here, water feature, 15-foot stream. The client wanted a cooling area down here, so we have some water sitting down there. Usually we just, on these kind of water features, usually we'll just have water going right into the rock. But this one we actually have cooling, kind of like a pond, but yet not quite. So yeah, we got our vault system under here with rubber liner to hold all our water. Our vault is over there. Way down there is where the pump is. And then our line comes out, goes all the way around and up and pumps water out. We got 2 lights in there. It's hard to see it right now. Everything's dirty. It just needs to run for a while. You use a net or something to take out a bunch of that junk. So it'll be interesting to see this after dark, after the water gets all clear. So that's what it looks like there. Then this one we have water coming off there and there. We have water coming off, bouncing to this rock, and then coming down and coming off that rock. So we have lights there and one here shining on that falls. And then we have one light here. We try to make our top falls where it just looks like the water's just coming right out of the hillside. So that's why we use the log here and then the rock and mulch from the backside, so it literally just looks like it's bubbling out. Because our dispenser for water is down the same level as those falls. Then we use borders around back so it kind of blends everything in, and also to hold the soil, because on this property we had their yard actually sloped away. A lot of people think that if your yard slopes away you can't put a water feature in, but you can. You just basically, so we had a pile of dirt back here, you start here and you put your first falls in below the surface, and then you will pull your rubber and underlayment up over that, and you'll pile of dirt up here, get it to the right height, pack it down, and then lay your rubber and underlayment and rubber back, set those falls and those rocks, and then you'll do the same process again for your next layer. And then you just put boulders in to retain the soil, and also to make it look like there's more boulders than just the feature, to make it as natural as possible. Then I like to use driftwood just to break up so there's not so much rock. Then we have our transformer here for our lights. Here's our timer, and here's our pump. So it's on setting 5. So the customer, if they want more water volume, they can pump it up, or less water volume, they can go down. And then over here we have this container here. Will hold a jug, and not right now, it's too cold out, we don't want stuff to freeze or anything. We'll hold a jug of stuff, and then a tube that goes down in there, and that will keep algae and stuff from growing. It'll keep your water looking clean and so on. So yeah, let us know what you think about it. We'd love to put one in for you guys.
I wanted to do just a real quick walkthrough of what we usually do to make sure a water feature can run through the winter, and then just kind of help answer some questions that people often would have, like, hey, can I run my water feature in the winter? And if so, like, what do I look for? How do I, make sure that it doesn't dry up and the pump burns up? So this one here has a larger number of aqua blocks underneath it, the aquascape crates, if you will, that hold the water. So we switched this up to the large aqua blocks and put more of them in there. That's because we need to size up the amount of water that we're holding. With the evaporation through the winter, we can't have any autofill system because it'd freeze, obviously. Evaporation happens a lot through just wind. It doesn't have to be sunny. It can be cloudy and cold and still be evaporating just because of the wind. So we want to make sure we've got plenty of water so you're having to fill it less often. Now you can size up really big and try to get it to where with the rainfall we have in our area, it just keeps itself maintained. So yeah, making sure you have good water storage to run longer in the winter is first thing. The next thing is with a pondless feature like this, and with really any pondless or fountainscape feature, it will ice over once we get to really cold temps. So what will happen is it'll ice over all the slower moving water, and it'll actually bridge over or cover up most of the falls, especially if it stays cold enough long enough to where you won't see any water moving, but you can hear it bubbling underneath of the falls, and it'll be going underneath of that. The main thing you don't want to do is don't go break through the ice, because what can happen is if you break through at the wrong spot and then the water comes out of where you broke it, it can spread out across the ice and get outside the feature, and then you basically pump the feature dry in a matter of minutes. So that's really the only thing to be mindful of, is make sure it freezes over nicely and then don't break a hole in it. So if you get really super cold and we're like negative temperatures here, really what I would do is just pay attention on a daily basis to the water movement, making sure that it's moving good. And if at any point it starts slowing to just a trickle, I would just cut the pump probably and pull it, call us, we can come out and pull it. Once the ice is completely formed over everything, it'll kind of act as an insulation, so it'll keep, it'll keep flowing for, it can be 0 degrees in Chicago, and they're running water features all winter long. So usually it's good, and we've got a pretty good depth of aqua blocks here, so it'd have to go really deep to actually hit the pump. But if you do lose your water flow completely and it's starting to slow to where it's just a trickle of water getting through, that's when you want to cut your pump, because you don't want to have to be replacing a $700-800 pump. But most of the time it's good. So if you want to know the difference between the field foreman and the sales guys, here's the difference. Right here, here, and there.
All I need is my good coffee. One of the things I really enjoy doing with water features is on the top falls, is just seeing how natural you can make it look. Like basically, so people are just guessing on where the water is coming from. It makes it look like it's just bubbling out of the water, just like kind of like there's a spring here. So we'll cover our top. So we have our barrel falls set up here, back behind, underneath this mulch, and we set it down below our top falls, so it just kind of bubbles out over the rock instead of just shooting out. You don't want a hose, so it just you don't want like a fire hose effect. You want it to just naturally bubble out, so you have a natural sound, and so that it.
One of the things that you really try to stress is making sure that where our water is coming out at is not the highest point.
Yes,
that's
why we have rocks here,
higher rocks here, there,
behind you.
Yep. Because if you have your water coming out of the top, which is one of the mistakes a lot of people will make, is they're trying to gain the highest elevation they can with the water, but it looks so unnatural because you just have this mound and then water coming off the top, and it's like, well, that's not true to nature. Hardly ever is it the highest point.
That's another reason why we'd have 1 or 2 trees up here if we were planting here. I mean, this water feature, the customer's planting it, so
yeah,
I don't know exactly what they'll do, but
right.
I spend so much time with each rock, it becomes my child.
Okay.
So like,
he has kids all over
this
the
one
Miami
here,
Valley.
I just love how it's like coming right out of the hill and just bubbles over nicely and spills, and it hits the rock and then bubbles up and then goes away. So like, you got a lot of action going on here.
See, people, that's why you hire Cable Brothers, because if you have people that actually love their water features, you're going to love it too.
Well, that's what we hope.